Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Tech with Yashwant. In this video, I will show you how to deploy a ROS application on AWS EC2 which has got Ubuntu 20.04 installed. All the requirements and the prerequisites along with the details are provided in my GitHub repository. I'll make sure to provide the link to that in the description box below. Now let's get into the video. So if you see here, this is the repository that I'm going to use for this demonstration, and the prerequisites are simple. You need to have an AWS account with all the permissions to create an EC2 instance, and in this video we are going to create 3 instances. I'll explain as to why do we require 3 instances, and we should have ROS installed on all the 3 servers which we're going to create. The steps or the commands to install ROS is provided here, and the steps which we are going to follow is also well documented. So don't worry, I'll provide the link to this in the description box below. So the idea is we will have 3 servers, as you can see here, server 1, server 2 and server 3, and one of the server will act as a processor, and the first server will act as a producer and the second server will act as a subscriber. So the publisher, as you know, its job is to produce the messages. The subscriber, its job is to consume the messages. Whereas the processor, the instance which is sitting in the center, it's going to process the data that you are sending from server 1 or the producer, and it is going to process that and it is going to send that, and a subscriber can get the processed data. So that's the analogy of this use case. I know it's a simple one for this demonstration where we're going to send 2 numbers from producers, and the processor will add those 2 numbers, and the subscribers can get the added value in the subscriber result. So this is a simple example, but you can scale it up. You can also run ML algorithms if you want on a processor machine, whereas your publisher and the subscriber can be your local machine where you have the data produced and consumed. Alright, so for this we need 3 instances or servers. So let's get into the AWS console and create 3 servers. I'm here in my AWS console, and as you can see, I can search for EC2, and I'll open up the EC2 console here. So if you see, there are 0 instances that are currently running. Let's go ahead and launch an instance. I'll say ROS server, and under AMIs we need to browse Ubuntu 20.04 because the version that I'm going to install, the ROS version that I'm going to install, is only supported on 20.04. If you have any other ROS application, you can check with Ubuntu, the latest version of Ubuntu, but for this example we're going to use 20.04. So you cannot see 20.04 here, so click on browse more AMIs, go under AWS marketplace, and you can search for Ubuntu 20.04. Hit enter, and you should see the first one, Ubuntu 20.04 LTS Focal Fossa. It's provided by Pro Computers, and I think it's starting from $0.0 US per hour from for a year. So you can just select this, and you will have to subscribe it if you're using it for the first time. So let's click on subscribe, and automatically that will be assigned to you. As you can see here, now the AMI has been changed to Ubuntu Linux 20.04. Okay, now instance type, select the one that is freely available for you if you are on free tier. If not, if you are on a pay-as-you-go subscription, go for the larger instances. But for this demo, I'll go with T3.small. And for the key pair, let's go ahead and create a new key pair. Okay, so I'll just click on create new key pair and provide the name as ROS server, and you can select RSA as the algorithm which is going to encrypt your data, encrypt the key, and the private key file format, let it be .pem for Mac and Linux, and for Windows it's going to be .ppk. And I'll click on create key pair. The key pair will be downloaded, and let's go ahead and select the network. I'm going to keep all the things on my default VPC, so you don't have to change anything on VPC side. Auto assign public IP, make sure it is enabled, and if you have a preference to place your instance in a particular subnet, go ahead and do that, but I'll leave it as is. And for the firewall or the security group, let's go ahead and select an existing security group. I'll click on select existing one, and I'll go ahead and select default. For the storage, let's go with 10 for each instances, and I'll select that as 10. Now for the number of instances, let's make it 3, because as I told, one will act as master, one is publisher, and the other one is subscriber. Now if you're just want to visit, just check all the details again or verify it again, then go ahead and click on launch instance. So it will take a couple of minutes for the instances to be up. So let's get into the instances page. I'll open the new terminal. Let's get in here, And if you see, there are 3 instances that are running. So I think the naming is a bit confusing for now. So what we can do is let's name this as master, okay, and let's name this as publisher. I'll just say pub. Let's name this as sub, just to make sure that it's publisher, subscriber, and master. Okay, so we have all the 3 instances now. So let's log into all the 3 instances and install the dependencies that are required. So the dependencies are, you will have to install curl, lsb release, vim, and you will also have to add these repositories, and you will have to install ROS. This is the command to install ROS and all. So what I've done is I've created a script called script.sh in the same repository. The same details are added there. So what we can do is let's copy this and clone it in our instance, okay, and then we can log in and then run the script. Okay, so let me log into the master first. I'm gonna use instance connect method for this demo, but if you want to log in via the SSH terminal, you can do that as well. But instance connect method gives you the terminal in the browser itself, so that is good. So let me assume the sudo or root privileges. So I'm a root user now. So first let me clone the repository. I'll say git clone and provide the URL. So it says git is not a valid command. So what we can do is let's update the system first. I'll say sudo apt update -y. Meanwhile, let's log into the other systems as well. This is master. Let's log into publisher. Similarly, let's log into subscriber. Okay, now we have master, publisher, and subscriber. So in master, let's install git. So I'll say apt install git -y. Okay, so it is getting installed. Now let's do the same thing here as well. Sudo su hyphen, this is the publisher. Let's update the system first. Apt update -y. Let's run the same command on the subscriber as well. First, let me become a super user or a root user. Now let me update the system. Apt update -y. Okay, let's install git on publisher now. So the command is apt install git -y. Same thing on the subscriber. Apt install git -y. Let's verify if it is done on the master node. I think it's done. Let's clone the repository now. I'll say git clone, paste the URL. It is done. Let's get into that folder. I think it's called as deploy ROS. And here, if I do ls-lrt, you will see script.sh. Okay. So firstly, let me give the execute permission chmod +x and the script.sh. So if you see, I do not have the execute permission at the moment. Now, if I do ls-lrt after running chmod, you will see execute permission has been granted. Now let's go ahead and run that script. So to run that, it's simple // and the name of the script. It's installing the ROS now. Let's give it a moment for it to install all the required details. Okay. Let's do the same actions on other platforms as well, other subscribers and the producers. So first, let's clone the repository. I'll say git clone. We'll have to copy the URL again because git clone and paste the URL. Okay, it's done. Now let's get into deploy folder, and in here we will have that file called script.sh. I'll say chmod script.sh. Now we have the permission. I'll run the script now. All right, so it's running. Let's do the same thing on the subscriber. Rather, you can also use EC2 user data section to install all the dependencies, but I wanted to show you how to do it manually as well. So I'm just recording this. Okay, so first let's clone the repository. Git clone. It's cloned. Now let's get into that folder, and here let's first give the permission of execution for script.sh. Now let's execute the script.sh. Okay, first let's check in the master. It's still running. It's 48%. So let's give it a moment for it to complete. This is the publisher and this is the subscriber. So it's installing all the required details that we have mentioned. You can double check the script that we have here, and once you have that details, you will be good to go. So meanwhile, it is getting installed. Let me explain the steps that we are going to take. After this, we're going to source this into bash script, bash, and then we are going to set up Catkin workspace and sourcing, which is required in order to run a ROS application. So if you see, I'm creating a folder called Catkin workspace, and under that I'm also creating I'm sourcing that to bash, and the next step is to create a ROS package and custom folders, which we are doing it here. And then in step 5, we will add sample Python script, where you should be inside this folder, which is Python scripts, where you will place, for the master node, we're going to paste the processor script, which is cp.py. For the publisher who's going to publish the message, we're going to place pub.py. And for the other one, which is subscriber, we are going to place sub.py. So all these scripts are already inside the machine. We just have to move them to a particular location. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, now let's check if the installation is complete. Okay, yeah, I see that installation is completed. First, let me clear the screen and see if it is completed in other two. Okay, in the publisher and subscriber, it's still running. First, let's grab the second command, which is sourcing into the bash. So I'll copy that and I'll paste it here. You should see a message like this, which is prompting you to add your next command. But if you do not see this, that confirms that there is some issue with the installation. Okay, you will have to redo it. Then we will have to create or set up the workspace and sourcing. So let's copy the third set of commands, which I explained previously. I'll just paste the commands, all the commands that I copied. So sometimes if you do not run it correctly, it won't work. So you'll have to run all the commands together. Okay, let me copy the fourth step. I'll clear the screen for you to see. Now I'm pasting the fourth one. I think that's completed. Now we should be let's check the folder once where we are, and we should also make sure that the Python script should be present in this folder. So if you want to check, so if you see here, it will automatically create SRC folder, and inside SRC we will have the Catkin workspace folder that we created, SRC, and my robot package, the package folder that we created, and inside that we will have Python scripts folder. So inside this Python script folder, we will have to move this cp.py script, because that's the master node and that's where the processor script is going to run. First, let's see what is the processor script that is doing, right? So here it is getting num1 and num2. I'm importing rospy, and this is the import command here. Firstly, it is getting the num1 and num2, which is being published by the publisher script, and it is adding all the details here. If you see the total, and it is going to give that as a number. So for example, if you are sending 1 and 2, the value will be total value will be 3. So that output will be provided by your cp.py. Okay, so firstly we should move this file into that path. So let me copy that path, whichever here. Okay, so this is the path where we have to place that cp.py. Okay, first let me get to the root folder where we should see deploy script or the GitHub folder. And here we have this script, which is cp.py, right? So we should move that file. So to move, I'm going to use mv. I'll say cp.py, and the path I'll paste this one. And if I hit enter, now let's do ls-lrt. You won't be seeing cp.py. It's in this folder now. So let's get into this folder and let's run the script. Okay. So before that, we will have to run the ROS core as well. So I'll duplicate this tab so that we can run the ROS core in one tab, and we can run the script in other tabs so that you can also see. Okay. So before that, let's see if it is done. Okay. The subscriber is, the publisher is done. So let me clear the screen now. Now it has got all the things installed. So what we can do is let's run the same things on the publisher and the subscriber. So I'm going to copy this. Before that, we need to source it. Let's copy the second command here. Come here, paste the second command. It's done, which confirms installation. Next is third step. I'll paste this command. Next, let's copy the fourth one as well, which is going to create ROS package and custom folders. Okay, let me clear the screen. Now let me run this. It's done. Here also, we need to add the sample Python script to this path. Okay, but in the publisher script, we need to send the public pub.py. Here, basically, it is just publishing two random numbers at the same time, and this is the script that I'm using, and you can also take a look at the script as well. It's already inside the system now. I just have to move that to a different location. Okay, so let me check if the installation is done. Okay, it's done. Now what I have to do is, let me go one step back. Let's get into deploy the GitHub folder where you will see pub.py. Yeah, you have this pub.py. So I will have to move that to a Python script folder. So I'll say mv pub.py, and I'll paste the path that I copied. It's done. So now let's get into that path, and here you should see pub.py. Okay. Now let's perform the same task for the subscriber as well. Let me copy the second command in the script, this one. Let's come here, done. We clear the screen, paste it, it's done. Now let's also run and set up Catkin workspace and sourcing. Okay, it's done. Let me clear the screen, and let's go ahead and run the fourth one. It's also done. Now the same thing, we need to send the sub.py into that path. So let me show you the sub.py script. So basically it is going to get the result from your master node. So it's a simple script which is going to receive the sum from your master or cp.py. Okay, so let me get in here and let me clear the screen. Now what I have to do is get into the folder where we have the sub.py script. Let me run ls-lrt. You can see sub.py here. Let me move that now, mv sub.py into this path. Let's get into that path now, and you should see the sub.py. Yeah, you can see this now. So if you observe, it doesn't have the execute permission. So let's do that. Let's grant execute permission chmod +x and it's sub.py. Now you should have the execute permission. Let's verify. Yeah, you have the execute permission. Let's do the same thing for other files as well. For pub.py as well, we do not have. So I'll say chmod +x and pub.py. Similarly for this one, you see it doesn't have the execute permission. So I'll say chmod +x cp.py. Okay, so it's done. Now we need to import or export the values or export the values for the ROS URI. So to export that, you can check this one. This is the command that you need to use to export the IP addresses which is required. Okay, so the master node will be where exactly you are running the CP script. Okay, so you need to replace this IP with your master node IP address, okay, or the private IP address. So go back to your instance here. First, get the master node IP. So this is your master node IP. Private IP you can check. You can copy that and you can paste that here. Let the port number be 1131311. It should be available or open on your security group. Make sure it is open. Now for the master node, the host name will also be same. Okay, let me keep that. Next, let's copy this one and paste it in the master node. Before that, for the publisher and the subscriber, master URI will remain same, but for the host name, you can copy the IP address of that system. For publisher, for example, it's going to be this one. So let me copy that. I'll change this one. And similarly, for the subscriber, it's going to be the subscriber IP address. Okay, so let me copy the subscriber, copy this one and paste it here. Okay, now first let's run this script, run this command on the master node. So let me go back here. This is my master node. I'm going to paste this, hit enter. Now let me run the second one, which is on the publisher. So this is my publisher. I'm going to paste that. And let's run the subscriber. This is required in order to communicate. Okay, so master, publisher and the subscriber are all three different servers. So in order to communicate, we need these URLs. Okay, so now let's start the ROS core. So on my first instance where I have the master node, I'm gonna start the ROS server. So let's clear the screen now. So now to run the ROS, all you have to do is you can just run ROS core, and if I hit enter, you should not see any error. If you see it started the core service, now you can come to other instance here where you can go ahead and run your CP script or the cp.py. But before that, we should also start publishing the message. So let's go ahead and publish that. So for that, you can run publisher pub.py. Okay, if I hit enter, see it's producing the message num1, num2. Now let's start the processor as well, which is going to process your data. So to process the data, you can run cp.py. You should see the added value. You can see this adding numbers. 100 plus 47 is 147. 55 plus 47 it's 102. So this processing is happening here, but it's producing the data here, right? So you need to note that. You can see this number 100 is here, right? Number 100 and number 47 was placed there, but you can see the added value here, right? Similarly, you can also get this result 147, 102 on the subscriber as well. So you can run the subscriber script now. So if you see, it is giving you the result, received sum for all the values that are being published, right? So here you need to note that master is just processing your message, publisher is sending your numbers, and subscriber is getting the result from the master node. Okay, so this is how you can actually deploy a complex application as well, but this is a simple one where you are just adding the numbers, but you can add more complexity, run ML algorithm on the processing unit, but you can just send the data and receive the data on your local machine as well. So that is how simple you can use ROS as well as EC2 in order to build your robotics application. I hope it was helpful, and this video was actually, or this workshop was presented to Vidyashilp University students. I got to learn a lot from this. So if you're interested on more such videos, please subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.